Afrobeats didn't just conquer the world overnight. It didn't rise because of algorithms or sudden trends. It rose because of people, millions of Africans in the diaspora carrying their sound, their rhythm, their identity into new lands. From the packed dance floors of London and Toronto, to the rooftop lounges of New York, to the university parties in Berlin and Paris, the diaspora turned Afrobeats into a global heartbeat. And that story starts with migration, memory, and music. When Africans began settling across the world, in Europe, North America, and beyond, they carried more than suitcases. They carried soundtracks, cassette tapes of Fela Kuti, burned CDs of Banj and Tubaba, MP3 playlists filled with Wanda Cole, P-Square, and Wizkid. These songs became more than just music. They became home. Every beat was a reminder of the sun, the laughter, the noise, the pulse of where they came from. So when these young Africans threw parties in their new countries, Afrobeats became their way of saying, "We're here, we belong, and we won't lose ourselves in the noise." Picture this. It's a Friday night in London, 2010. A small apartment in Peckham. Someone connects a phone to a Bluetooth speaker. Wizkid's Don't Dull starts playing. Within seconds, the room shifts. People start moving, singing. The energy is electric. Now take that same energy to Toronto, 2012. A student basement near York University. Someone shouts, "Play something from Niger." The DJ cues an Oliver Twist, and suddenly, every accent, Nigerian, Ghanaian, Jamaican, Canadian, moves in sync. That's how the diaspora did it. They didn't wait for record labels or mainstream media to validate them. They created the movement themselves, party by party, track by track, night after night. Afrobeats' global success isn't just the story of artists. It's the story of the fans who became ambassadors. They were the ones who requested Afrobeats in clubs that had never played African music before. They were the ones who taught their friends how to zanku or shaku shaku. They made the playlists, shared the links, streamed the music endlessly. And before long, the world started to notice. By the mid-2010s, something powerful was happening. The children of immigrants, second-generation Africans growing up in the UK, Canada, and the US, started embracing their roots proudly. They didn't just want to blend in anymore. They wanted to stand out. Suddenly, wearing Ankara, eating jollof rice, or saying Omo became cool. And with that pride came a soundtrack, Afrobeats. Artists like Wizkid, Davido, and Tiwa Savage became global icons not because of random luck, but because their diaspora fans amplified them across continents. They were the first to sell out tickets in foreign cities, the first to make Afrobeats a staple sound at Western festivals. The diaspora turned local stars into global legends. But it wasn't just the fans, the DJs played a huge role too. Across cities like Toronto, London, and New York, diaspora DJs became the bridges. People like DJ Magic Flows, AJ Styles, DJ Damager, and countless others. They were curating soundscapes that mixed Afro rhythms with hip-hop, dancehall, and R&B. They made the sound accessible to non-Africans, while keeping its soul intact. They understood both worlds, and their decks became the connection point. Then came the artists in the diaspora themselves. Nonso Amadi, born in Nigeria, refined in Canada, blending smooth R&B with Afro rhythms. Thames, whose sound resonates deeply with fans from Lagos to London to Toronto, symbolizing the voice of a confident African woman breaking barriers. Burna Boy, unapologetically African, yet effortlessly global, selling out arenas in every time zone. These artists represent a generation unafraid to be both African and international. They didn't water down their sound for acceptance. They made the world come to them. And let's not forget the power of collaboration. Diaspora communities made these partnerships possible. Drake featuring Wizkid on One Dance. Beyoncé's The Lion King, the Gift album bringing together Afrobeat stars and global audiences. Even Canadian and British producers now infusing Afro rhythms into pop, R&B, and EDM. It's a diaspora living between two worlds that made these collaborations natural. They understood the balance. They made it make sense. Today, you can feel Afrobeats everywhere. In commercials, movies, and fashion. Luxury brands use it to market style. Western artists sample it without hesitation. The world has embraced the sound, but it's the diaspora that made it possible. Because while the artists made the songs, the diaspora gave it wings. They streamed the music when the industry ignored it. They packed the shows before promoters believed in it. They shouted Africa to the world long before the hashtags existed. The diaspora didn't just consume Afrobeats. They built the ecosystem. And the impact goes deeper than entertainment. Afrobeats has redefined how Africa is seen globally. For decades, Africa was misrepresented, always framed around struggle or poverty. But through music, that narrative changed. Now, when people think of Africa, they think of rhythm, energy, confidence. They think of the same Lagos, Accra, and Johannesburg that birthed this sound. That shift in perception is thanks to the diaspora, who proudly represented their roots and challenged outdated stereotypes through art and joy. And it's beautiful to see how the movement continues to evolve. New generations of kids born in the diaspora are now growing up dancing to Afrobeats from birth. They know every lyric, every move, every beat. They're learning about Africa not through textbooks, but through music videos, concerts, and stories told through sound. And many of them are becoming the next creators, producing beats, directing visuals, launching brands, and building the future of Afrobeats culture in their new countries. The diaspora planted the seeds, and now an entire global ecosystem is blooming. So when we talk about Afrobeats' global success, it's not just about chart positions or award nominations. It's about identity. It's about belonging. It's about millions of Africans scattered across the world refusing to forget where they came from. From London to Toronto, New York to Berlin, the diaspora made sure Africa stayed in the conversation. And because of them, the world now dances to our rhythm. So the next time you see an Afrobeats artist on stage in another continent, remember, behind that performance is an entire diaspora movement that made it possible. Behind every sold-out arena are people who never stopped believing in the sound. Afrobeats didn't just go global. It was carried there, hand to hand, beat to beat, by people who loved it too much to let it fade. Thanks for watching, and if this story hit home, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment about how Afrobeats has influenced your own journey, whether you're in the diaspora or back home. Because in the end, we're all part of the same rhythm, the one that started in Africa, but now beats across the entire world.